Alright, so we've all been there. A title gets released, it's brimming with potential, but critics and players alike are quick to judge. Today, we're diving into 10 amazing games that receive some seriously unfair criticism but deserve a second look. Let's start with our first pick. When Immortals Fenyx Rising dropped, it was quickly dismissed as a Breath of the Wild clone. Sure, it shares some similarities, but this game carves its own identity with a hilarious narrative, creative puzzles, and a vibrant reimagining of Greek mythology. Critics claimed the humor was too juvenile and that the art style felt too cartoonish. But here's the thing. This game doesn't try to be serious. It's an intentionally lighthearted adventure with plenty of charm. The world is colorful, the combat is fluid, and the way you're encouraged to experiment with abilities adds layers to exploration. Personally, I loved how the game embraces creativity. From solving intricate vault puzzles to unleashing godlike powers in battle, there's always something fun to do. And honestly, the cheeky commentary from Zeus and Prometheus had me laughing more often than I expected. When Marvel's Midnight Suns was announced, fans expected fast-paced action like Marvel's Spider-Man. Instead, they got a tactical card-based RPG, and boy did the criticism come pouring in. Some people dismissed it outright because of its slow pace and unique mechanics. But Midnight Suns shines in its own way. Its card-based combat system encourages strategic thinking, and the relationships you build with Marvel heroes are surprisingly deep. It's not just a combat game, it's a thoughtful blend of tactical planning and personal storytelling. What I found amazing was how the game makes you bond with iconic Marvel characters. Hanging out with Blade or having deep conversations with Doctor Strange made the world feel alive, and the combat is so rewarding once you understand the mechanics.
Let's do it. Does Hydra even pay you enough?
Bethesda's Starfield was one of the most anticipated games of 2024, but when it launched, the response wasn't exactly stellar. Critics labeled it as just Skyrim in space or too slow, while some players wanted No Man's Sky levels of planetary interaction. But here's the truth. Starfield offers an unparalleled space RPG experience. Its storylines are rich, its worlds are detailed, and the customization options for your character, spaceship, and playstyle are insane. Sure, it's not flawless, but that's Bethesda's charm. Modders are already enhancing the experience. The feeling of flying my customized spaceship through a galaxy full of mysteries is unbeatable. I loved the attention to detail in the main questline and the ability to shape my character into a smuggler, bounty hunter, or explorer. It truly feels like my journey. When Biomutant launched, it got mixed reviews. Critics called it repetitive, and some argued that its ambitious open world felt empty at times. But for me, Biomutant is an underrated gem that dared to be different. The game combines a post-apocalyptic setting with anthropomorphic animals, martial arts combat, and crafting. It's quirky, yes, but that's what gives it its charm. The narration style might not be for everyone, but it adds a unique flavor to the storytelling. The sheer creativity in customizing your character and crafting weapons really stood out to me. Every playthrough can feel different, and I enjoyed piecing together weapons from junk and taking on enemies in fluid acrobatic combat. Ryse Son of Rome was Microsoft's Xbox One launch title, and unfortunately, it was torn apart for being style over substance. Critics said it lacked depth, but what they didn't appreciate was the cinematic experience Crytek delivered. The game is a visual masterpiece with intense combat that makes you feel like a true Roman warrior. Yes, the gameplay can feel repetitive, but the story and presentation are top tier. The dynamic combat system and focus on timing add a satisfying rhythm to battles. Honestly, I still revisit Ryse to soak in its cinematic presentation. Marching into battle as Marius Titus feels epic every time, and the story's focus on loyalty and revenge had me hooked from start to finish. When The Evil Within released, it was seen as Shinji Mikami's return to survival horror, but the game faced criticism for its confusing story and uneven pacing. Critics felt it tried too hard to emulate the Resident Evil formula while not innovating enough. But beneath its flaws lies a true gem for horror fans. The atmosphere is haunting, the enemy designs are grotesque and creative, and the feeling of constant dread is palpable. It's a love letter to classic survival horror, mixed with Mikami's signature flair for tension. I loved the blend of survival and psychological horror. The game constantly keeps you on edge with its resource scarcity and mind-bending environments. Plus, the adrenaline rush from narrowly escaping terrifying enemies like the Keeper is unmatched.
My God, Connolly.
Watch Dogs had one of the most infamous launches in gaming history, primarily due to the massive downgrade from its E3 trailer visuals. Critics also pointed to Aiden Pierce's boring personality and a story that didn't quite live up to expectations. But look past the controversy and you'll find a game that laid the foundation for open-world hacking mechanics. The concept of controlling an entire city through your smartphone was groundbreaking, and the game's missions offered a nice mix of stealth, action, and creativity. I genuinely enjoyed the sense of control the hacking mechanics gave me. Taking out an enemy convoy by causing a traffic jam or disabling a helicopter mid-chase felt incredibly empowering. Plus, the gritty tech-noir vibe of Chicago was unforgettable. When Quantum Break launched, it was criticized for being a mix of a game and a live-action show. Some players disliked the pacing caused by the show-style cutscenes, while others found the story too convoluted. But here's what makes Quantum Break stand out. Its gameplay is incredibly fun. Using time manipulation powers like freezing enemies, dodging bullets in slow motion, or creating time shields made every encounter feel dynamic. And the story? It's ambitious and well-acted, blending gaming and storytelling in a unique way. The time manipulation mechanics are what kept me hooked. I loved experimenting with different abilities during combat, and the combination of intense action and narrative-driven gameplay felt like something only Remedy Entertainment could pull off. Wanted Dead didn't have a lot of hype leading up to its release, and when it finally launched, many players criticized it for being overly difficult and unpolished. But beneath the rough edges is a game packed with personality and over-the-top action. It's a love letter to classic action games, blending third-person shooting with brutal melee combat. The cheesy dialogue and retro-inspired design give it a nostalgic charm, and once you get into the rhythm of its combat system, it's incredibly rewarding. The mix of gunplay and swordplay is what stood out for me. Pulling off stylish combos while dodging enemy fire felt super satisfying. Plus, the game doesn't take itself too seriously, which makes it a chaotic and fun experience.
On your guard.
Remember Me is one of those games that had an incredible concept but didn't get the love it deserved. Critics said the combat was repetitive and that the game's potential wasn't fully realized. But honestly, this game has so much to offer. The memory remixing mechanic, where you alter someone's memories to change their actions, is brilliant and something we rarely see in gaming. The futuristic Neo-Paris setting is visually stunning, and the story explores themes of identity and control in thought-provoking ways. I was blown away by the creativity of the memory remixing sequences. They're like mini puzzles that let you reshape a character's entire perspective, and that's such a unique concept. Combine that with the vibrant art style, and it's an experience I still think about to this day. When the Callisto Protocol launched, it was touted as the spiritual successor to Dead Space, but it received heavy criticism for performance issues, linear gameplay, and combat mechanics that some felt were too clunky. However, beneath those critiques lies a game that excels at creating atmospheric horror. The visuals and sound design are top-notch, immersing you in a terrifying sci-fi world. The brutal melee combat adds a unique twist to the survival horror formula, forcing you to face enemies up close in the most nerve-wracking way possible. I absolutely loved the oppressive atmosphere and the sense of dread that permeates every corner of this game. The detailed environments and gruesome enemy designs kept me on edge, and the intense melee combat added an extra layer of tension to every encounter.
Inmate, stand down. Alert condition red. Shutting down.
Spec Ops: The Line is a masterpiece that was misunderstood at launch. Many dismissed it as just another generic military shooter, but this game is anything but. Its deep and emotionally challenging narrative, which explores the horrors of war, sets it apart from the crowd. The gameplay may seem like standard third-person shooting, but the moral dilemmas and psychological impact of your choices elevate the experience. Few games dare to question the heroism of its protagonist as brutally as Spec Ops. The Line does. The story completely blew me away. It's not often that a game makes you question your actions so deeply or feel the weight of your decisions in such a profound way. The ending left me thinking about it for days. It's a true narrative triumph.
Enemy on the move! Target down!
Priority target! Take him out!
Enemy down!
Vampyr didn't get the recognition it deserved due to its clunky combat and divisive morality system. Critics were quick to point out its flaws, but they often overlooked the depth of its storytelling and the unique moral dilemmas it presents. You play as a doctor-turned-vampire, forced to balance your oath to save lives with the need to feed on the very people you're trying to protect. The gloomy, plague-stricken London setting adds an immersive layer of gothic atmosphere to the game. I was hooked by the moral choices. Deciding whether to sacrifice an innocent person to strengthen your abilities or try to survive without feeding made every decision feel impactful. The world and characters are so well written that it felt like I was truly part of this dark, twisted story. Mafia 3 received a lot of flack for its repetitive mission structure and bugs at launch, but it's a game that delivers a powerful story and one of the most memorable protagonists in gaming. Lincoln Clay's journey for revenge is raw, emotional, and captivating. The setting of New Bordeaux is beautifully crafted, immersing you in the racial and social tensions of the 1960s. While the gameplay loop could have been more varied, the game's narrative and stellar soundtrack more than make up for it. I loved Lincoln's story. The way the game dives into themes of revenge, loyalty, and justice felt deeply personal and impactful. The world building, combined with the incredible soundtrack, made exploring New Bordeaux a truly immersive experience.
Just had to start something. Oh shit! I need cover!
We ain't going easy on you, Free.
It's fucking empty! Damn it! Oh, he keeps killing us! Getting low!
When Days Gone launched, it was unfairly criticized for bugs and a perceived lack of innovation. But over time, it has garnered a well-deserved cult following. The game offers a vast, beautiful open world filled with dynamic challenges and emotional storytelling. From Deacon's heartfelt journey to the terrifying hordes of freakers, Days Gone delivers an experience that's both thrilling and emotional. It may not reinvent the wheel, but it perfects the art of creating a living, breathing world filled with danger and drama. The bike was my favorite part of the game. It's not just a mode of transport, it feels like an extension of Deacon himself. Customizing it, upgrading it, and relying on it to escape freaker hordes added a layer of personal connection I didn't expect. That wraps up my list of 15 amazing games that received unfair criticism. If you've played any of these, or if you think I missed one, drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gaming content. See you next time.